if you for our
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
okay. So, we can we start with roll call, please?
Yes, good morning. President Powell will be absent for today's meeting. Vice President Estrada,
Here.
Director Bianco.
Here.
Director Aguilar.
Here.
And Director Nelson.
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. Moving on to public comment. We are now in the public comment portion of the agenda. This is time set aside for public comment. Any members of the public may comment on any matter appearing on the agenda. Please address the board at the podium. Limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and if you wish, state your name, address for the record. Do we have any members in the public that would like to speak? No, don't see any. Are we on Zoom? Are we still doing Zoom?
We do not have Zoom currently, and we have no
we don't
speaker
call.
cards.
No, we don't call for public comment.
No? Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to recognitions and special presentations. We do have one employee recognition, a retirement. Ms. Carrie Oliphant, Director of Engineering, 28 years. And I have a little bit of a script here that I'm going to read. Carrie Oliphant, Director of Engineering, 28 years. For Carrie Oliphant, the best part of her tenure at the district was seeing projects grow from concepts to construction and ultimately serve the community. These full circle moments will stay with her in retirement. A native of Northern California, Carrie earned a Bachelor of Arts in Literature from UC Santa Cruz, a Bachelor of Science in Engineering from UC Berkeley, and a professional engineering license. In 1997, she began working for CVWD as an assistant domestic water engineer. Multiple job advancements followed, including associate domestic water engineer, senior domestic water engineer, engineering manager for domestic water and sanitation, engineering manager for engineering services divisions, assistant director of engineering, and director of engineering in 2019. As director, she managed the budget for the district's capital improvement program, the CIP, upheld a strong CIP execution rate, and built positive relationships with developers and new customers. Carrie also chaired the Disadvantaged Communities Infrastructure Task Force and worked with finance to secure grants for Eastern Coachella Valley projects. When reflecting on her work at CVWD, she noted that the Palm Desert Groundwater Replenishment Project stands out as a highlight. In the years ahead, Carrie is looking forward to taking it easy and relaxing. She plans to travel and enjoy time with her husband, Michael, and their kids, Ashley, 18, and Tyler, who's 16. Okay, if you could please, big round of applause for Carrie. And, we have a little something for you, Carrie. If you could please join us up in the front. And then, why don't I open it up first to the board if you want to share some thoughts, Jim? Maybe I'm gonna let the board share some thoughts before we all go down there and take a picture with her.
Go ahead. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I just wanted to say, first of all, I can't thank Carrie enough for her years of service. And for me personally, long before I was on this board, I was in real estate, primarily working in the area of affordable housing. And for almost 20 years before I came to the board, first at the county and then with the Coachella Valley Housing Coalition. And Carrie, inevitably, whenever we would meet and we'd have a problem with a project, an affordable housing project or a special needs project with water or sewer connection, always managed to find a workaround. And Carrie, I think you're personally responsible for several hundred units of affordable housing. So just congratulations to you and enjoy your retirement. Thank you for all your contribution.
I'd just say, Carrie, your career is second to none. You were such an asset to this district. I've never met somebody who's more fair but also tough. That's a trait that only you have, and you do it in a certain way that makes everything all right. Like the prior director said, I think your workaround to these major problems that always seem to arise on every single project, I think that's just something that's just unique to you, and we're going to miss you a lot. And personally, I'm going to miss you a lot. Thank you for your service here.
Yeah, Carrie, we're gonna miss you. I mean, this valley's gonna miss you, and I think all the developers are gonna miss you, and the board's gonna miss you as well. You've been a tremendous asset to the district, fighting for capital projects that may not be as sexy as new development, but are extremely important to maintain the reliability of the district. And we appreciate you and all that you've committed to and done, and wish you the best of luck in your next phase of hanging around and doing nothing and until that wears on you and you're back in some kind of contribution to the valley. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. I know the developers are gonna miss you for sure, and yeah, you're pretty tough. But you do it in such a unique way where everything always works out. I think last time I said that I had the most fun working with you as a director of engineering, and then I think some of the other directors said that they thought I said you were my favorite director. And so I just wanted to clarify that I meant my favorite director of engineering, because I think I've worked with at least a few, maybe you were the third one or the fourth one, but I mean that. I think I work with you the most personally, especially on a lot of the projects in the east side, big projects, huge projects. I think you were personally involved in putting a lot of those projects, which amounted to millions of dollars. So really proud of that. I'm gonna miss you like everybody else here, and wish you the best. And thank you for everything that you did for us. Thank you. And with that, maybe we should all go. Yeah.
You have to have something to hold for your picture. So let's see.
Photo.
You're in
On the side.
Smiles on three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you all very much. There's my sick thank you. Thank you. I don't have a big speech prepared. Keeping in my tradition of keeping things concise and to the point. I just wanted to say thank you, obviously, to the board. Appreciate all your support over the years. Thank you to Jim, to Dan, and Robert's not here, to my direct reports, David, I don't see Armando, Elizabeth, and to all the engineering staff. It's a great engineering department. Everybody's so capable, and I know you're going to continue to go on and accomplish great things. Also, thank you to the other members of the executive team, Carla, Joanne, Louise, Sylvia, Scott, of course. Thank you so much, Scott, for your organizing this today and going the extra mile. I know I'm probably forgetting somebody, so that's the rabbit hole you go down when you start mentioning names. But anyways, it's been an amazing career, and I really appreciate everything that the district's done for me, and I'm happy to have been able to return the favor and do so much for the district as well. Thank you.
I just wanted to make a couple of comments. I want to first thank Carrie for taking the job when I asked her if she would. Otherwise, we would not be in this place right now. I want to thank Michael and Tyler and Ashley for sharing Carrie with us. I know she's put in a lot of time here that she could have otherwise spent with you, especially as she approaches this day. But now you got her back. So, but as I've told Carrie a number of times, your being here and your contributions and your support to me have helped make me a better general manager. So I'm going to miss you when you go, for sure. Hard to replace. Okay, now we have a couple other things.
Proclamation. Maybe I should read it.
Okay.
It's okay. I'll read it later.
And I think we have some other ones that they're probably gonna read, so. Why don't do we go up there and then I'll call, some of you who are also gonna present some proclamations, so let's go up there. And I think you need to stay here, yeah,
Yeah.
so.
You took all the rollaway chairs away.
Hand it to whoever comes down. Whoever comes up, the microphone is
All right, so we have a number of proclamations for Carrie. And we have representatives here from Congressman Ken Calvert's office. That's Mr. Glenn Miller. We also have a representative from Assemblymember Greg Wallace's office. That's Mr. Felipe Ortiz. And we have a representative from Assemblymember Jeff Gonzalez's office, and that's Jacinto Delgado. And we have a representative of State Senator Steve Padilla's office, Armando Avalos. And so I'm gonna call Mr. Glenn Miller up first. You would please join us up front.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice President and board and staff. My name is Glenn Miller. I'm District Representative for Congressman King Calvert, and it's an honor to be here on his behalf. First off, we want to congratulate Carrie on her retirement after 28 amazing years, but the work that all of you have done, but led by Carrie in doing projects throughout the Coachella Valley, especially the East Valley, where I'm from, the city of Indio, further down all the way towards the Salton Sea, has changed the lives of a lot of different individuals. And the work that you've done by troubleshooting and updating all these projects has made not only CVWD successful, but the Coachella Valley successful. And Armando from Senator Padilla's office wants to read the proclamation, so I'm just going to say a couple words. So we have a certificate of congressional recognition from Congressman Calvert on your 28 years of dedicated service, retiring as Director of Engineering. And this is in recognition of your 28 years of service in the Coachella Valley Water District, known for your high energy, professionalism, supportive staff, and the business community. Carrie is what public service is all about. Thank you for your unwavering dedication in advancing major clean water and infrastructure projects for the residents of the Coachella Valley. Congratulations and best wishes on this well-deserved retirement. God bless you, and thank you for all you do.
Yeah, I think you're gonna.
Aren't you gonna read it, Glenn?
Thank you.
Armando really wanted to read his proclamation.
All right. Up next, we have Mr. Felipe Ortiz with Assemblymember Greg Wallace.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Felipe Ortiz, and I work for Assemblymember Greg Wallace. Thank you to the board for allowing me to be here and share some remarks on behalf of the Assemblymember Wallace. Thank you for your dedicated service, 28 years. Wow, that's a long, long time. The Valley has seen a lot of growth, a lot of development, a lot of new buildings, new housing, and all that. A little bit of that is because of you and your hard work. So on behalf of Assemblymember Wallace, I just want to present the certificate of recognition for your retirement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jacinto Delgado with Assembly Member Jeff Gonzalez.
Need a whole wall for all this. Designated wall, just for you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jacinto Delgado. I'm a field rep for Assemblyman Jeff Gonzalez, and it's an honor to be here to congratulate Carrie on 28 years of service. You know, a lot of people like to bring up the question, right? What is the highest callings that someone could have, right? You might hear a lot of different answers from a lot of different people, right? But I think a lot of us, and most of us, can agree that public service definitely has to be up there as the highest calling a person can have, right? It's going out every single day, ensuring that the lives of the people around you and the people in your community are better, right? And no matter how many steps it takes to get to the goal, right? The point is that you're busting your butt to get there to ensure that everyone around you is better off, right? And to me, there is no higher calling than that. And to do that for 28 years successfully, and to meet and see the change that you've been able to be a part of, I can't imagine how awesome that has to be, right? So again, for 28 years of service, on behalf of Assemblymember Jeff Gonzalez, we congratulate you.
Thank you. And I hear Armando really wants to read the proclamation. So up next, Armando Avalos with State Senator Padilla's office.
They said short and concise, right? So I'll only read half of it. No, I'm just kidding. So my name is Armando Avalos. I'm here on behalf of State Senator Steve Padilla, and we just wanted to present you with this resolution and thank you for the 28 years of service. I'm not going to read it all because, I mean, everybody has other things to do. But yeah, again, just thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for making the great Coachella Valley as great as it is. And please, please enjoy your retirement. And if there's anything that we can do, let us know.
Thank you. And then we also have some certificates from U.S. Senator Alex Padilla, Congressman Raul Reese, and California Senator Ochoa Bo, and those will be handed over to Carrie as well.
I don't need a photo.
Holding all those. A whole wall, huh?
But maybe the offices would want a photo, so you don't want to stand here with me. Try to look pretty. That's right, we need some tape. Sure, Scott went down. You want to get Tyler to come down here and help you? Where'd he go?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All righty.
Oh, I know what these are.
All right, we're gonna move on now to consent calendar. Is there an item that the board would like to pull? Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve the
There's a
consent
motion.
calendar.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's 4-0. Okay. All right, moving on to action calendar. First item on the agenda is for our clerk of the board.
Yes, Mr. Vice President, I'll take the lead on this. So, as you know, before you is the to consider the approval of the Fourth Amendment to the General Manager's Employment Agreement. The Brown Act requires that certain deal points be made public or read into the record, and I'll do that now. If the board elects to take such action, then pursuant to the requirements of the Brown Act, we must make the following disclosures. One, that the Fourth Amendment would be the final action would adjust the current base salary of $385,547 by a cost of living adjustment of 3.6%, which would result in a new base salary of $399,426 effective the first pay period of January 2026. Number two, the general manager would be eligible for a performance bonus of between 0 and 10% of base salary based on the factors or criteria that may be taken into account in conjunction with the employee's next annual performance review. The Fourth Amendment includes the adjustment to base salary as well as an exhibit, which with the goals and objectives for the upcoming year that are before you at the dais, and also available copies for the public, and will be part of the amendment, if approved, that it becomes public record and on the website. So with that, this is before the board to consider.
Mr. Vice President, I would move approval of this Fourth Amendment to the amended and restated employment agreement, as well as the exhibit.
Thank you. There's a motion. Is
I'll
there
make a second.
There's a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Open it up to, is there anything else you'd like to share before we move on?
Jim, thank you so much for serving the district for this long. The only thing we should have said is that you let Carrie get away, but no, I the district's in a good place. It's moving forward. We're managing the water supplies, and you've got some big tasks in front of you, and good luck with that.
Thank you, sir. And I would agree with that.
Thank you, sir.
And I agree with that too.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this might be one of the harder ones.
Right.
A lot going on, but yeah, thank you.
Hi, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Moving on now to item B, Mr. Mario Camacho, Supervising Engineer.
First time at the podium, Mario? Not nervous at all, are you? Because you know your stuff.
Please.
Here we go. So, good morning, Vice President Estrada, members of the board. For the record, my name is Mario Camacho, Supervising Engineering for the Irrigation and Stormwater Division. And here to present to you this morning, we have a recommendation to authorize the General Manager to execute task order number 2 with Duncan Engineering for $434,985. And also a request to authorize the General Manager to execute task order number 3 with WSP USA Inc. in the amount of $138,666 for additional engineering services. And this is in relation to our Thousand Palms flood control project. As you guys are aware, this is a multi-year project, so it has no impact to this year's fiscal year. And with that, I'll open up to questions.
Mario, I just have some, just for the sake of remembering where we're at, I know that we went through a lot of, I think, land acquisition for this, and that's probably been secured.
So it's actually still ongoing, very
Okay.
much so. And so that's part of what this task order is for. Most of the bulk of this item is for CVCC coordination, and also some relocation efforts that were not in the original scope of work. There's about 550 acres that's going to be required for mitigation purposes, and that's what this is for particularly. So
Okay. Was that related to, we had a gentleman at one point come in proposing to, weren't we in,
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
it's related to this, right?
It's not related to this change order, no, but it is.
To the project?
So the project.
It
Yeah.
is impacted by the project.
Okay. Okay, so the bulk of this is for is it for the purchase of property?
It's for easements and purchase of properties, basically to the coordination efforts, basically a right-of-way consultant for the entire project. So it's not just for any of the particular reaches, but for the overall project. So it's going to be multi-years with them. So.
Yeah, and then the design is, did we finish the design?
So actually we're wrapping that up, Reach 4 in particular, which is from Barner Road to Washington Street, basically downstream of Acrisure.
Mm-hmm.
We're still working with the county to wrap up the design.
But everything else has been finished, or is it we're just
It's just the Reach 4.
okay?
for now.
Is that the way we're doing it? We're gonna design, we're
In
gonna
phases,
in
yes.
phases, and then
Correct,
okay,
that'll be the first one.
okay. Yeah, I know it's a big project, and so I was just trying to get my head around kind of where we're at. But I think you've explained it. Any other questions?
I do have a question. I noticed that there's a pretty significant increase in the proposal for reviewing appraisals. So are those appraisals that have already been done and are now outdated, or are those
No, so
appraisals
this-
from other?
Correct, sorry. So this would be for new appraisals, and the reason they're more expensive is because this is the special coordination with the CVCC, which is a whole different process than just regular, dealing with private property owners. So this is to do with dealing with the CVCC specifically, which have their own processes, and that's what's more expensive than just a regular.
So those are for new appraisals?
Correct, new appraisals.
Yeah, I'm talking about, there's a line item in the proposal for reviewing appraisals as opposed to new appraisals that had gone up pretty significantly. I'm just curious what those review of other appraisals, what that means.
Do you have the line item? Sorry.
I do not.
Yeah, I would have to look into the details to get back to you on that one. For sure, not a problem.
I see David coming up.
Apologies, good morning.
Hi.
The review of the additional appraisals has to do with, and existing appraisals has to do with, most of the property owners, as you're aware of, when we've dealt with some of these folks, when we've acquired the land, have required a higher level of scrutiny on some of these appraisals, more engagement. So a lot of the appraisals that we get, you try to keep it within the area, but some of them expand out to DHS and those sorts of things, and they require. We just don't take them on face value. We have to engage a little heavier on them. And so the last one we had with one of the property owners, we had to decide whether a portion of the appraisal made sense as it related to the acquisition and rezoning. And so this is more of in anticipation of those higher level of engagements that might be required going forward.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There was a motion. I think was there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. Any other comments, questions? No. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That
Yeah,
was,
Director Aguilar, if I could just interject here, I appreciate the board has gone ahead and voted on this, but I just did a quick calculation between the original budget on appraisals for 75 parcels. That was about $3,000 per appraisal. And then the additional, which raises it about $40,000, there's an additional 13 parcels. And so the actual unit price per appraisal is less than the original. So I may have misunderstood your question, but just looking at the additional 13 parcels and the additional amount in the budget, at least per parcel, it seems to come out at a smaller unit cost.
Okay, that's good to know. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, that's correct. We added 13, so that's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was
Mario?
all in the Doken Engineering letter that was part of the packet, so I didn't have to research a whole lot.
Thank you, Mario.
Thanks, Mario. Good job.
All right, moving on to environmental services. We have the next item presented by our environmental services director, Joanne.
Good morning, Vice President Estrada and members of the board. My name is Joanne Lay, Director of Environmental Services. This morning, staff requests that the board authorize the general manager to execute amendment number 1 to the professional services agreement with Corolla Engineers for the evaluation and treatment, non-treatment options, and recommendation to comply with the PFAS regulation projects in the amount of $1,136,349, and that's reflecting an increase of $181,544, and approve a budget amendment resolution number 25-26-007 to incorporate this adjustment. The board also previously authorized an additional contingency in the amount of $95,481. So this is for a total request of $1,231,830. And the reason for this request is that, as you're aware, we have a total of 8 wells that are impacted by PFAS. Our original RFP was for studies, feasibility study for the 5 wells that are colored in red and orange. The ones that are in cyan were deemed below the state, any state level and federal levels. Since then, we've seen a PFAS detection at these 3 wells increasing, and as well as the state has reduced its consumer confidence report detection limit from 4 nanogram per liter to 2 nanogram per liter. So it's more stringent now, and so staff recommends that we move forward with the evaluation of 2 of the 3 wells in cyan, in this bluish color on the map here, in the evaluation of treatment, non-treatment option.
So out of all the wells that we have, are these the only ones?
Correct.
In the
with
whole
detection,
valley? In the whole valley?
Of the 92 wells that we have active.
What about Palm Springs or Indio or Coachella?
The only agency with a detection in their drinking well intermittently is Desert Water Agency.
Desert Water Agency.
Yes, and it's right there at the 4 nanogram per liter, but intermittently, so not consistent as the wells that.
So we are trying to do some investigation to see why in Palm Desert, where we've had no manufacturing that anybody can think of or anything. I mean, it was desert and turned into homes and golf courses, and why it doesn't make sense.
Correct. That's the parallel approach that we have here, is to pinpoint the source, what its plume is, where it's going, how it's going to impact any wells downstream from it, if any. That's one part of the study, and the other part is to evaluate the treatment, non-treatment option, so that we can comply with the federal adopted PFAS regulation by 2031.
And it's very concentrated, right? So it's like it's just
right around
it's just
this
there.
Monterey Country Club.
It's not like all of
area. Just out.
It's not like all of the city. It's just that's just that little
It's
area
so
there.
odd.
It's really weird.
It's really weird. Okay. It is what it is. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. Before we take a vote, is this? Does this include the design, or is it just?
Concept design, yes.
Okay.
Also, we
So
have
this is
bench
gonna-
studies for all 8 wells, concept design, and from there we will move forward with implementation. And please note that unlike Chrome 6, there are grant funding for PFAS, federal and at the state level. So this is good timing for us to move forward with this study. And this change of scope would not change the timeline of the project. It will be delivered on time. And so that it will give us some time to go sought after federal and state funding for the implementation phase of the project. So that's
Okay,
good
so
news.
does this get us to like final, like something that we could put out to bid? Or
I will have to check with the team to see
Yeah.
if this is something that we can put out to bid.
Yeah, if we look at the Chrome 6 as a parallel initiative, we did a concept design first to get a sense of how we were going to approach the remediation of Chrome 6. And then what we've done subsequent to that is engineering has put out a package for the actual treatment facility for, I think it was
Sun City.
1,000 palms. And that was to be used as not a template, but at least a starting point for the follow-on remediation facilities that we'd have to build. So again, this is a concept design. We'll take the concept, the board will approve an approach that is outlined in the concept, and then we'll go on to actual site remediation projects.
all right. And what's your schedule like on this?
The project should wrap up by May of 2027. So we have a few months.
Whole year you're gonna work on this?
Correct, yes. They're already starting to, the treatment evaluation and non-treatment evaluation task.
Okay. All right, well, there's a motion, a second. Any other comments, questions? No? All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That's 4-0.
Thank
Thanks,
you for your
Joanne.
support.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item D, presented by Management Analyst with Environmental Services, Mr. Tony Quiroz.
And this is Tony's first time, isn't
Tony's
it?
first
Or were
It
you up
is.
here before? For
No, this is my first time, yeah.
All right, not nervous or at all.
Welcome.
I wasn't nervous until now, thanks, Jim.
Right. Yes.
Well said.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Vice President Estrada and members of the board. My name is Tony Quiroz. I'm the Management Analyst for Water Resources Planning here at the Water District, and I've been here for 4 months now, so I'm relatively new, not as many years as Carrie has, but hoping to get there one day. And today I'll be presenting the water supply assessment for the Coachella Airport Business Park. And before I began, I just wanted to mention that you'll notice the 2020 Urban Water Management Plan is referenced in this water supply assessment. And the reason for that is because the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan is still in draft, and we are currently reviewing it, and we'll be presenting it to the board by early June for adoption. And after that, we'll submit it to DWR by the July 1st deadline. And after that, we'll update our templates, materials, tables to reflect and be consistent with the new Urban Water Management Plan. And you also might be wondering why this project sounds familiar, and that is because in 2020, the board approved a water supply assessment for this project. And CVWD staff request updates from the developers every 5 years just to make sure that the project is still consistent with what was approved 5 years ago. And in this case, the project did have significant changes that increased its water demand. And so we had requested that we do a new assessment just to reevaluate and make sure that we have the appropriate water supply for the new increased demand. The original amount approved was 65.98 acre feet per year, and that increased to 101.18 with this new assessment. And that is mostly due because they included cooling towers and a reverse osmosis system, both which use significant amount of water that wasn't represented in the original assessment. So looking at specifics of this project, it is in the city of Coachella in the Eastern Valley. It's between Highway 86 and Grapefruit Boulevard, north of Airport Boulevard. And it is technically within the Coachella Water Authority's service area, but they have deemed it infeasible for them to be able to supply water for this project, and CVWD has closer infrastructure. So we've been named as the water supplier for this project. Therefore, it's on CVWD to conduct the water supply assessment for this project. Oh, there we go. So in looking at this specific project, it would take place on a 48-acre plot of land that is currently vacant, and it would, when complete, have about 29.6 acres of non-residential commercial buildings. This includes things like different sized warehouses, self-storage, and a drive-through restaurant, etc. It would also include 18.4 acres of combination of open space, parking lots, driveways, roads, and a substation for electric. And within that area, it would also include about 5.2 acres of outdoor landscape areas as well. Specifically, you can see some of the amenities that would be included here. It's going to include some of the things that I mentioned, as well as that substation, a service station, some retention basins, and commercial buildings and retail. And the total water demand for this project is located on the bottom right corner of this table, and it is about 101.18 acre feet per year. This equates to about 2.1 acre feet per acre, and it's made up of 86.2 acre feet per year for indoor commercial and industrial demand, and 14.99 acre feet per year for outdoor irrigation demand. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions, and I am joined by MSA Consulting today in case you had any questions for the project that I can't necessarily answer. Thank you.
I do have a question,
Yeah.
please, and welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
So we're providing services when this project moves forward on an interim basis, and are the water facilities already there to provide? And if they're not, when they're constructed, do we get reimbursed by the Coachella Water Authority at the time that they take over the improvements?
That's a great question because I don't know the answer to it, but I do have MSA Consulting here. I don't know if Marco, you know. We have a domestic line based on the maps relatively close by. I'm not exactly sure how it would work for the interim status. I know that long-term Coachella Water Authority would envision that they would be able to service this area. I don't know how that would work in terms of a reimbursement for CVWD.
I can add a little bit to that. So there is no water line there right now. CVWD is building a line as part of a project that's going to cross the storm channel to activate that line that's floating underneath the expressway, and then push it to the other side to consolidate all those systems. We've been seeing some of that. So CVWD is going to put in a water line through there that's going to basically activate the airport line, which is where I imagine this project would connect off of airport. And when they connect to CVWD, obviously that project would have to pay all of CVWD's impact fees. It'd be no different than any other project. The only way that the city would ever be able to provide service is if the city built a parallel line across the storm channel and then transfer those connections to that pipe. The city probably is not in a position to do that,
Not going to do that, yeah.
for several years, maybe 10 years, maybe never.
Yeah. So the interim is probably a little misleading.
They want the right to be able to do it.
It's there is an existing agreement from 2008 between the district and the city, where it already lays out those rules of engagement, where if one jurisdiction provides service on a different jurisdiction, vice versa, whenever that agency pulls their infrastructure to that proximity, then they would have the ability to transfer.
Okay,
Yeah,
good to
so
know. Okay, that wasn't referenced in here, so thank you for that.
yeah, so there's in short, there is no collection of impact fees
Yeah,
that goes.
I get it. I get it.
That's all it's. Yeah.
Okay.
And then so this project, WSA, gets added to the list of other WSAs that we've approved.
Exactly.
And I didn't get through all the board package, and it's not in here, but is there the updated list of the WSA?
Yeah, it should be your attachment 3.
Okay,
You'll have an updated table, and we had originally had a Coachella Airport Business Park for the original 2020 approved one, but we superseded it with this new amount.
Okay, perfect. Good, thank you.
Yeah, it's on the item on the agenda online, and it looks like compared to the rest, I think it looks like we have a few dozen here. It's on the low.
Yeah, it's on the
end.
lower side.
It's on the
Yeah,
low. end.
2.1.
Yeah,
It's
2.1.
definitely on the
Yeah.
lower side, which is good.
Okay. Any other? Is there a
Yeah, I
motion?
would move approval of the item.
I'll
All right. Second. Any other comments, questions? Not seeing any. Is there a? Okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries.
Thank you.
4-0. All right, thank you. Moving on now to human resources. Our human resources administrator, Mr. Bill Walters.
Good morning, Vice President Estrada and members of the board. Before you today is a request for authorization to increase the authority level of the general manager or in their absence, the assistant general manager to enter into workers' compensation claim settlement agreements and to maintain authority to enter into stipulations with requests for awards not to exceed $100,000. And for the record, I would like to make a correction to the resolution itself. In the third clause, I would like to strike the term "with the exception" and replace it with the word "inclusive," as the resolution is for both claim settlements and STIPs, as indicated throughout the rest of the resolution. And I apologize for that oversight. This request to increase the general manager's authority is twofold in purpose. One, it will align with the general manager's current procurement threshold of $100,000. And two, it will expedite the signatory process for all parties involved once a settlement has been reached. And that will potentially reduce the claimant's potential ability to reject an agreed settlement once it has been achieved. And to provide some historical perspective, over the past 2 years, we've had a total of 14 claim settlements through workers' comp. And out of those, 7 of those 14 were less than $10,000. So it kind of puts it in a little bit of perspective for you. And only one of those was over the $50,000 threshold. And that was approved by the board last October. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
So this is a small percentage then, what you're saying, this is a small percentage of approvals.
As a self-insured for workers' comp, we have the ability to pay for anything up to $250,000, and anything above that goes into our excess workers' comp.
So then the board would have discretion over settlements between $100,000 and $250,000.
Correct.
But you said out of the 14, only one was over the 50.
That's correct.
Was it between 50 and 100 or?
It was $200,000.
Okay. Yeah, so it would have come to the board.
That's right. You approved it last time.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to make sense that it's 100,000 is what the general manager has as a authorization for.
Does he already have that? I thought.
Yeah, he has that for up to on contracts.
I thought it was
engineering
50.
contracts.
It went up. Oh, okay. So you already have 100.
Legal fee.
Oh, wow. Maybe we don't have to be here no more. Yeah, yeah. All right. Any other comments? I mean, yeah, you're right. If it's already 100.
Yeah, I'd move approval.
All right. It's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other questions? Comments?
So we won't know about these? Anything under 100?
No, it gets reported. I'm sorry, it gets reported in the general manager's report of activities,
Okay,
which you get every month.
yeah. Okay.
All right. There's a motion. There's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That carries 4-0.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. All right, moving on to informational items and reports. Written communications to the board have been filed, and you have a copy of those. We do have an informational presentation to the board by our state legislative representative, Mr. Cyrus.
Good morning.
Is it Devers?
Devers.
Devers.
Or Devers. honestly. It's whatever. Good morning. I'm Cyrus Stevers. I'm your lobbyist here at the state capitol. I appear a couple times a year before you in person for kind of special events, and this is the kind of the kickoff for the legislative year. So that's why I want to be here in person to present to you on the bill matrix and what we're really working on, what appears to be what we're going to work on this year up in the Capitol. So to start out, this is an unusual year. We have a low bill introduction rate. We're typical would be 2,300 to 2,500 bills introduced each year. We're only at a little above 1,800. So it's just kind of an odd year. We haven't really got our head around it yet as to why. And in addition to that, we have a record number of spot bills. Spot bills are just like one-line bills or bills that just indicate what they will do in the future, but we don't really know what is going to go into them yet. And these bills have to sit for 30 days and then they get amended and get set in the process. So as a result of all this, we have a sense of uneasiness kind of amongst the lobbyists up there. We don't know what the water year is going to be like. So last year was dominated by the fires, before that dominated by the drought. So this year we're kind of still wait and see, but we do have a good start. That's why for the first time you have a bill matrix in front of you. However, because of our requirement to prepare it well in advance, there are going to be a number of bills that will be important that aren't on this bill matrix that have already hit the system and weren't available to me at the time I prepared this. For example, SB 872 is not on your list, and it is in fact one of the first bills we'll be active on, and that's to deal with subsidence on the State Water Project. It's a funding bill. So that was McNerney SB 872. You're going to see and hear more about that later in the year, and in fact it's going to be one of the first bills we do a support letter on in conjunction with the State Water Contractors Association. So moving on then, the two big themes we think we see happening early on in this initial set of bill introductions deals with wildfire liability and golden mussels. If you've never heard of golden mussels, they're an invasive species, and it's of concern to you because you are a state water contractor and it's hitting the State Water Project pretty hard. And so we've got multiple bills on how to deal with them, streamlining permit, funding, just a whole raft of bills about what to do about golden mussels. And I know that sounds odd. It's like, how do we just out of the blue come up with this one invasive species and now it's the focus of support? But in fact, it's an extremely aggressive, extremely difficult species to address. So you're going to hear a lot about that. And as I mentioned, wildfire liability, you will hear about that. I know you don't think of wildfire out here, but you actually do have a couple of high fire hazard zones in the northwest part of your area, but also through the thing called inverse condemnation, where there can be liability for damage for acts that you weren't even involved in. And that can flow through a district. In theory, if water was not sufficient from CBWD and that contributed to harm, you could, in theory, have liability flow through even to CBWD. So it's an incredible issue. It's exploding, and it probably will reach even you. So you're going to hear about those things. But those are general things happening throughout the legislature. I want to talk a few things about CBWD in particular that we're going to focus on. At the last hearing, we were given the charge to investigate funding for Chrome 6 remediation and treatment. So we have worked, staff met together, and we didn't want to just put forward a single proposal from CBWD. We felt that wouldn't have a good chance in this year because we are in a budget deficit. So we had the idea to have a collective approach. So we reached out to all the stakeholders on Chrome 6, and we're querying them on what can you spend in the first year? Like, what is the immediate need? And we're going to do a joint request on all of this as a coalition just for the first year of funding. Now, I don't know that this will have better odds of success, but it'll accomplish a couple of things. One, it'll give us an opportunity to educate and get the word out to members who aren't affected by this of just how serious this problem is. But also, too, it can also set up a future request. If we make inroads, if we get sympathy from staff, if we get directed towards funding sources we didn't think about, it can have a follow-on effect to make our next effort perhaps more successful. So we took this idea to our legislators when Karen came to town last month for water-related events, and we got a very enthusiastic reception from our representatives. So much so that Assemblymember Gonzalez said he would put aside a spot bill, and that we could try a bill, an actual policy bill that can go through a committee hearing. Again, that means we get to present, we get to put out information, we get to educate people, and then we'll also do a budget request. Assemblyman Wallace will be active in that too. So again, we're very pleased. Again, we can't give you any assurance of success, but if you have an enthusiastic author, you should run with it. And we're going to do that. You also had a presentation today on PFAS. We also have activities on PFAS that we are pursuing. One will be a bill that you've heard about before. It has been reintroduced by Senator McNerney. It's going to create a funding mechanism, not actual funding, just the mechanism, but it'll create an account and the means of transferring funds in the budget to deal with PFAS remediation. Again, we have to find a source of funds in order to put in the account, but at least we'll have the account. You also have a bill that's going to make Prop 4 funding available much faster, both in the near term, and then you also have a bill going through the system so that as ongoing the regulations change, they can happen faster. So we have, we're going to be very active this year on both of the major environmental issues that CBWD is facing. We're also going to, the last issue we'll also be very active on, in addition to the others I've mentioned, has to do with Prop 218 liability. We have talked about this for a while, and we again ran into an enthusiastic author in Assemblymember Ward, was willing to take up this issue. So we have AB 2180, which is going to help deal with the immense problems we have, with Prop 218 litigation. So we're going to have an active year, and that is that. As if that's not enough, that will comprise my year. So I'll stop there and see, are there any questions I can answer? And if not, please see you all again.
I do, on the Chrome 6 stuff that you're going to be working on, and when you say the first year spending, what is that first year?
Well, just what can you spend in 12 months? Each every stakeholder.
Starting when?
Pardon me?
Starting when?
Starting with?
Starting when?
Oh, fiscal year. I mean, we didn't specify it. We assume it's fiscal year. So, what can you spend from June to June 30th to July 1st?
Okay.
But it's we didn't specify it because we didn't want to, like, if someone's on a calendar year cycle, we didn't want to like make them adjust.
Okay.
So we'll explain as we go through, but it's just we want to have a list of, hey, legislature, you put this on us. Here's what we need immediately just to get going.
What about the money we've already spent on Chromium 6?
Yes.
What about the money we've already spent? Is there any talk about getting reimbursed for that?
Okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't following the question.
Oh.
Thank you. There is money in Prop 4, and yes, when you do a grant, you can kind of look back in time and get reimbursed, although I don't want to get your hopes up on that. Unfortunately, that funding is lumped in a group of funds, which is quite large, safe drinking water, PFAS, it's all coming out of this one pot. So it's really unclear how much state money there will be available in the end for Chrome 6. Part of this effort is to focus attention on that.
So your approach is to go after money year by year instead of putting the estimate total for all of the contractors who have Chromium 6 problems in the state of California and putting one bill up there and trying to get all of the money?
Correct.
Okay. And so we would have to go through this every year to ask the state we need money again for this year. We need money again for this year?
Hopefully, yes.
Okay,
I know that sounds odd.
Yeah,
Let me explain.
It doesn't seem right to me, to tell you the truth.
It's
it seems like it's just
right.
a drag.
This is my best attempt to make the best of a bad situation. If we put forward one massive funding request right now, it would just get shot down so quick. I'm not even sure it would get heard because of the massive budget deficit we're trying to face right now. My thought was, and admittedly, this is an act of creative writing. I don't know if this has been done before. My thought was we would get a better audience if we put forward immediate requests right now. The reality is, in the process of state funding, if we get a single dollar, just getting that dollar makes every dollar after that easier. Because it's so much easier to come back and get a reapproval or reauthorization than the first time you ask for it and get authorization. And that's why I thought if we came through with a massive request right now, while we're dealing with an $18 billion budget deficit, it would just be, suicide mission.
What is the percentage of assembly members that have a district that have chromium-6 in it in California?
I didn't do a total, but if I were, we went through this process.
But doesn't that make a difference? I mean, if it's 20% of the assembly members, you would have 20% right there.
Yes, but that isn't near enough to get through a budget funding request.
I know.
So, and that's kind of the reason why we tried to do something that sounded more sympathetic on its face.
Okay.
But
I think my gut feeling is that I think our concern has always been that there is not enough districts that are impacted by chromium-6, unfortunately, and that's why we weren't successful in putting a stop to the MCL. Otherwise maybe we would have had a bigger chance.
But the assembly members have relationships with other assembly members who may not be affected, and when you put 20 or 25 of them together, co-authored on a bill, a lot can happen.
And I do follow your thinking about what it would do if you put in the whole request, because I imagine it's probably approximating what do you think, $1 billion? Maybe
it would
more.
be over half of what Prop 4 was, probably.
Right. I mean, just us is like 350.
Exactly.
Coachella's another 50. Indio's probably another 80, and that's just the valley. You start adding all of the other cities, you're probably getting close to like over $1 billion for sure. Fast.
Yeah. So if you ask for $1 billion this year in a budget deficit,
it's gonna get killed.
Versus 10% of that.
Yeah, because
$100
you just want
and you say,
design.
"Hey, this is what we need to get started."
Yeah, to do
and
design.
your regulations that you're passing down with no funding, that is, suspect. Yeah, I get it.
Again, I'm not saying this is a good approach. I'm making the best of a bad situation.
Got it.
And to add a little more kind of like information on what you're talking about, the number of members affected by this. We did SB 466 last year. The major, I'd say one of the largest contributors to the success of that bill was the work Karen and Scott did, reaching out to districts and saying, this affects you. You need to contact your member. And they had to work months on that to get the list up to, I think it was maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was total of less than 18 members.
Yeah. And that had no budget impact.
And that had no budget impact.
And it was still.
But that was just an educational effort to say, hello, you have this in your district. I mean, that's the level that we're working at. And that was after a massive effort. Now, the good thing is we have that stakeholder list and we're going to use it again. But yeah, we are really working hard to educate legislators who just aren't aware of when, they pass these bills. This bill was done, 10 years ago. And I remember going through and we were trying to say, this is going to have consequences. And here they are. We have a hard time keeping these members educated. Because remember, even if we get them educated, they turn over. And we have to re-educate the new members. And it starts all over again. So this way, at least we're going to we hope to get a policy hearing. So at least we're going to get to, circulate the information. We're going to present at the microphone. And members that have never heard of this are at least going to be, have to sit there and listen to our testimony. So.
I have just one more thing. In a nutshell, what is this 218, the AB 2180? What is that doing?
That's probably one of the most important issues we're facing. Now, it deals with liability. So, and I haven't had a chance to consult with counsel on what I can and or should not say in terms of its impact, but it's going to help in all these 218 cases that have placed such a high burden on water districts to prove up their rates that it's impossible to meet. And so the rates keep getting shot down. It has to do with the split in the courts of how proportionality is defined. So your fees have to be proportional to the services provided to each property owner, correct? Well, how do you define proportionality? Does it have to be so precise that you have to trace every molecule of water back to its origin and determine the cost of delivering that molecule versus the other molecules that came from a different source and that rolls into the cost? How precise do you have to be? And court decisions have placed a level of precision on water districts that's impossible to meet. In particular, water districts like CVWD, where you have multiple sources of water. The more sources of water you have, the worst situation you're in for trying to prove up your rates, because you have multiple costs associated with each source, and you have to somehow roll that up into a bill that gets delivered. It's been devastating for those cases that are in this one particular area where the doctrine has gone one way, but it's been pretty good in other areas where the doctrine has gone another way and been more reasonable. And so the bill says we like that reasonable approach. It's like, as long as you're reasonable, you use objective standards on your water rates, you're good. And so, of course, this is just, you can't tell the court how to decide a case, but what the legislature can do is can say, in our opinion, this is what was meant by the law, and the court is entitled to give that great weight. And because there's a split of opinion, we think they will. And that's why we think this is a worthwhile effort.
Yeah, and if I may just real briefly, my partner Lucy Caruth is the head of the Ledge Committee at Aqua, and has been helping to spearhead this case. And directly to the point made by Cyrus is this has to do with tiered rates. There has been some current cases that are more reasonable, as Cyrus says, but it's trying to prove that every molecule of water in the next tier up comes from this source and is in charge of this customer. That's what we're trying to make more reasonable.
All right,
And
good luck on that.
I'm glad Mr. Frey said that and not me. So he's authorized.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions, comments by the board? Not seeing any. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to see you in person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on now to board comments, requests for future agenda items. We'll start with board comments to my right with Director Nelson.
Yeah, sure. No, thanks. Yeah, I don't have many comments except for last board meeting I mentioned that I was going to resign from the board. That I'm going to send Sylvia a letter and make that effective first week of April. So I'm going to follow through with that. And I think I've said a lot last month, but I got a lot of things lined up in my own personal life with moving in a little bit different direction in my career wise, and have some consulting lined up and spend some time in the Central Valley for that, and life goes on. So with that, that's all my comments. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I have no comments other than to say that I was not here when Peter made the announcement about his leaving the board, and I was pretty distraught about it, and I will save any other comments for his final meeting.
Thank you. And I have no comments either. We will move on now to board requests for future agenda items. Are there any? I don't see any, so none. And we will move on now to board meeting reports, starting off with a meeting that I had. So the 18th, the EAC meeting, we went over the environmental documentation for the Pierce project that we're working. It's probably contained between Avenue 66 and Avenue 70. It's part of one of the projects that has been identified in our consolidation master plans for the extension of water. I believe it's both water and sewer, right? And so we are working on the environmental. Other folks are working on the design. I hear the design is somewhere around 60 to 90% complete. And then eventually we would have to go out for some construction funding, which I'm hearing, I think based on that presentation, we were thinking we're about 5 years out for construction, maybe. Is that correct? That seems like a good estimate. Yeah, I thought it was like, I recall 5 years. Yeah, that was that meeting. And then we will skip the next meeting. That was Director Powell. He will report at the next meeting. And then February 25th, Directors Nelson and Powell.
Yeah, so we met with the California Irrigated Lands Coalition, responsible for water reporting and nutrient usage.
Gulf and Water Task Force Staff gave an update to the task force on the mapping project that they're currently working on all the golf courses, which is a pretty big project, but it'll allow some of the golf courses to kind of track their water use and see where they can conserve. We did a report on, gave them a report on our landscape ordinance that we've passed, and then an update on the Colorado River negotiations.
I sent an email last time for that meeting, and I had a question about the length of the meeting.
It's only an hour.
On my calendar, it was like over 3 hours or something.
Yeah, it's never been. It's only an hour.
Do they always send out the calendar that long, or?
I've never heard. We've never had one 3 hours.
Sylvia,
It looks like an hour. It looks like an hour and a half on my calendar.
oh, for some reason on mine it was like
Hour and a half.
anyways.
Maybe hour and a half is more
Okay.
standard, but that's about it.
Okay. All right. Next meeting, Director Nelson. State water contractor.
Oh yeah, that's a operation committee. They meet with California DWR. The state water contractors meet with California DWR to go over current lake levels, current at Oroville, San Luis Reservoir, and it's critically important right now because the San Luis Reservoir is probably today reaching capacity of the state share and encroaching on the federal share, and so that there's a lot of ramifications about how to manage carryover. And as you well know, Metropolitan Water District is our agent for managing carryover, and which is potentially lost when you get a full San Luis Reservoir. So it's very important to understand, where the water situation is and what could be potentially at risk for CVWD and how that water's managed. So it's very good management committee.
This committee meets how often?
They meet once a month, and then there's a mid-month call, and Robert's included me on the last couple of years, and it's a good committee. I just listen, right? So Robert asks really engaging questions at times, and it is a contractors meeting, so I kind of sit on the side of Robert and listen in.
Robert is our representative?
Yes, he's our representative.
Okay. Thank you for that. Next meeting, we had the Growing Coachella Valley and City of Coachella Ag Tour. I was there. Director Bianco, you were there. So you might want to add Director Bianco to that. And I think you and I both showed up at the same time, only to the when we had the stop at the 97.1. So we did have some staff there from our communications team. We had several staff, at least. I think we had Veronica and Denise and two of the Sun Hittles were there, and
they did a good job.
They did a great job
explaining how the canal works, and we had a lot of folks there from we had Banning people.
We had people from up
Desert Hot Springs,
even further. I thought I saw somebody from Hemet.
Hemet, yes, we had Hemet.
Hemet, right?
Yes. And so we educated a lot of people on our water and how the canal works, and even some of our, board members or city council members from the Coachella Valley who
Palm Desert was there.
Palm Desert and Coachella and Indio.
It went well. The communications team did a good job. They had some big old school historical pictures of the canal being built, and so it was good. It was good, everything that they shared. It went well. And next meeting, that's Director Powell and Director Bianco. You're 2-on-2.
We had a big group of people from the city of Palm Desert. Big group. We filled up that meeting room up there to capacity. Yes, and they were just giving us an update. They have a lot of big projects, and they wanted to work collaboratively on some of these. We wanted to go over a little bit more on the Monterey crossings. It's still a contentious issue. the College of the Desert, the UCSB, and what else?
Well, they wanted to talk about general capacity for sewer within the city limits. They wanted to talk about a potential rest area up at the trailhead out on the Palms to Pines, past the visitor center. They wanted to build something out there. The Randall Henderson Trailhead, I think is what they called it. They had some concern about, from the fire marshal, about the Palm Villas water supply. I guess they're looking to go vertical, and as soon as they start delivering lumber to those construction sites, the fire marshal gets a little concerned that there be adequate fire protection from hydrants in the area.
I hadn't heard that one before.
Yeah.
That was new. That they need more water as they go vertical.
Interesting.
And that's about it. I mean, there was really an opportunity for our electeds to meet with their electeds. I think all of these issues probably could have been handled with a phone call or a staff-to-staff meeting. As far as I know, none of them were contentious. None of them, except for ones we had already talked about, and didn't spend a lot of time on that in this particular meeting. I think they kind of knew those cards had already been played. But, I do encourage them to reach out to try and handle these at the lowest possible level. The city manager was supposed to show up, but unfortunately he was not able to make it, which was a good thing because one more chair, we would have needed a new room.
Who did you meet with?
Palm Desert.
Who, the council members?
Nastendi and Joe Padetta.
Oh, great. Nice. All right, moving on to Director Aguilar.
So the meeting with the state senator was canceled or postponed or to be rescheduled, I guess. So it did not happen. But I do want to mention I did meet with on the 3rd with Patrick O'Dowd from the Water District, from the authority, formerly from the Water District, but with the authority to review primarily items from the last board meeting that I missed. We also talked about some possible changes to the leadership of the authority. And we also talked about the $1 billion allocation from the Bureau, which sounds as though that's been settled. So that was it.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other meetings that you'd like to report on? No, seeing none.
I'd move approval for the balance.
There's a motion.
And, payment of those.
There's a motion to approve the per diem. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That carries. Okay, moving on now to reports. General Manager.
Yes, sir. I thank the board for the support and renewal of my employment agreement. Thank you very much. Primary, I guess the priority item at the top of the list is to try and find a replacement for the Director of Engineering. That'll take a little bit of time. We want to make sure we get the right one. In addition to the 2+2 with Palm Desert, last week we got one coming up this week with Indian Wells. There's a couple of issues that they also want to talk about, so I don't expect it to be a contentious issue at all. But that's scheduled for Thursday, I think at 10 o'clock. Here.
Thank you. Report from our council.
Yes.
Moving on to report from our council.
Yes, I have no report today, Mr. Vice President.
Okay, any reports from departments?
I don't see anybody rushing to the podium, no, sir.
Great. So with that, we are going to move on to our closed session, and we will be back to reconvene. Thank you. All right, we're back from closed session. There is no reportable item, nothing to report. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Bye-bye.